So ndifuna nje ujonga nje ukhaya uba yeah. Okay. Yeah,
yabo sivela kahle
because iyadingeka yona.
kakhulu. Uyishuma qala ngoba
Yeah. Ngeke ndibe ndiloga yini ku-Twitch ndizobona uba bakhona nabanye. Naye abantu.
sim.
Usakwazi uloga yini phaa kulaa profile. Nje uzojonga. Okay, nam uhlolele sisithi molweni. Shosho hlonele. Hayi ndizama unyusa apha i-chat. Eyi, ndenze umgogodelo othile nje. Yeah. And then, nantsi isiwa ke ngoku le. Befana ungathi sambe ndikontrola ngale nto. Hayi ke. Khambe ndijongile ka-YouTube uba ikhona. Otherwise njani ihlonela namhlanje? So I think isengufronela only okhona. Kanti uyoyijonga ku-YouTube uba ukhona. Sabalinda till late. So sawubona uba bazofika nini abantu. Then join conversation. Oh, yeah. Nifumene i-marks zantoni namhlanje? Eze-maths. Kanti ndiyobhekelisa nenontoni le. Kale nje so. Uqhube njani ke ngoku? Big screen. ziyenza kuphatha njani ii-functions? Oh yima bendifuna phaa kuFacebook ndiyokhomenta ndibone izawuvela nyhani apha ku-driving conversation. Yabo, ikuYouTube le comment ndayibhala and iyavela nalapha na as i-driving conversation.
Or live streamer kulaa nto
71 yho, 71 ngubani? Code 6 muslo. Shit, nangu baselingo naye. Shosho baselingo. Baselingo nyhani igama lakho okanye? Because sometimes ndiye ndifunde as base lingo. Shosho sifundise. Uzityile zona ii-functions, hayi no. Hayi sure. Hayi sure. Ibe ngu-Anive Erasmeni. Shosho Anive. Ndiyayazi ifani Ndiya-akha. Oh, okay. Yho, ii-numbers namhlanje zininzi nyhani. Mayi. Sawusole siqala ngo-half past 3 minutes nje for uba kuphephe. Because apha funeka athathe i-question paper upaper 1 we-physics ka-2018. Scroll down. Oh, Monday lo. I think uyaqala msiba khona Monday apha.
Yes.
Yeah, Monday. Awasendlishela namhlanje.
So retirement.
So akwi-retirement.
I don't know the days.
Yimi umuntu oyena mntu orusileyo apha. Imake kade ndiscrolle down iphepha yini. Or else bufuna uthini?
Ndifuna usuke ndiqale question. Scroll. So. Stop here.
Ngale straight.
Yeah, question 4. Which is Z and this is velocity.
Khawume ndizama ukusoma. Sibuye back. Apha sikhontrola isolve. Ndifuna ntoni?
Awukwazi wena ndiza na.
Uyithini?
Scroll up.
Sijonge phaa kuyo, yeah.
Okay.
Now not the real VIX.
Okay, I can see.
Sure.
Chat.
You can see chat. No,
But
abanga.
then
So uhlonela baselingu aka akha okanye akha baselingu, then sifundise no-Anive and then bengu the real VIX. So 5.
Okay. Can I
Yeah.
introduce myself, guys, before we start? Just thumbs up. You don't need to write full sentences. And then when I access
Question paper.
what I look at.
But I think bangayifumani uba bayayifuna.
Okay. Because I think plan no we move bazama makhawuleze badownload the question paper then. I check the questions kuyo.
Niyakwazi ufumana le question paper.
The second question.
But ingxaki izawuba on and off, but wawubona uba
Since those devices are
yeah.
Next time.
But nje
Okay. Shout it. Next time, next time, go busy, like busy, like because you take of your time of your choice, right of their choice. Yeah, but now you the time.
Okay. Okay. Indibhalile. Udaiba. Dogs.
Hey, busy.
Awareness. Yeah. Interior naika 2018 but ilink yona ndingayisenda through Twitch.
And you,
Eh?
and you.
I didn't go see was the Twitch. Something. Your job bit. Don't do it. What I forgot through. Yeah. So fun be happen. But you might be comfortable ngoba siqale ngolo question 4.
Yes, we are.
Uyayazi why bafuna uqale ngayo.
Ben Muzile, if any of you are bilingual or multilingual, Muzile, can I introduce myself before we begin? Just spell an order. I said thumbs up or just say yes, no full sentences, so that I can know people that are there. For me, it's this thing is new. I can't pretend like someone is watching me. Yeah, reason why in City Baboma will be now, like, it's gonna be the statement. It's our statement.
Nah,
Then after statement, then there's the questions. Then you have clear.
but it's sure.
Yeah. Okay, I can't read, but it's fine. Um,
But into the
okay, check box then.
yeah, it's so that it's silent the cover. Yeah, fun
Okay.
khona enye vela ngapha ecaleni. So yeah, was introduce like
Okay. Okay, my name is Days Ravu. That's who I am. Yeah, I'm a tutor in mathematics, physics, life sciences, and also a teacher in training. Okay, I have a question, another question. So, question 4, it's about velocities, where you use equations of motions. So, I don't know how this works, people divine, how do you conduct it, but we'll see how it goes. So, I'm comfortable on getting a feedback. Feedback is in, like, can I read the statement for you guys, or can you read the statement for yourselves, then you give a thumbs up, or okay, I said two things in question one. Can I read the statement first, then sicacele sonke, or do you guys prefer to read the statement on your own? I'll just say 1 and 2. I will know what I mean. Okay, no one likes change. No? I'm sure that goes well. Okay, ndingayo. I'll assume
ngamanye amaxesha iba khona ileg.
leg. Oh.
Yeah, depending on the network. So what you can read the statement.
You can
Yeah.
read the statement. I'm not booty. I am Mr. Daisy to you guys, right?
But bakusela uyifunda. Yeah. So iba khona nje ileg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, forgive me. I am new to this world of yours. Okay.
Ikhona lokufuneka ndiyenze apha so that izovela kakuhle.
The entire screen.
Yes, because i-black le. But I think ndizawuspend ixesha ndizame ibe kuthina le nto le ibe transparent. Yeah, kwangoku ndiyasava. So kufuneka ndithini ke ngoku ngoba ibonakala.
Ngenye into mayifuna ukuyi-eliminate yileya
Maybe
lena yonke le. Ngasiqala ephepheni.
So ndingabe ndiyibeka chat.
Okay, before I read, can you guys see the question paper on your devices? Okay.
Bayayibona nje apha.
Okay, but they can't see this. No obstruction.
Yeah.
No obstruction now.
Then masithi so that bayayibona.
Yeah, it's not be focal point or quote. Yeah, I think so. Right, was no. Okay. What was the last text? They're still begging me to read. Are you guys still begging me to read this thing? Okay, so here we go. So to two cars, A and B, are moving at speeds 15 meters per second and 13 meters per second in the same direction. So as you can see from the diagrams, there are two cars there. Okay, sure. There are two cars, car A and car B. They have different velocities, but they are moving on the same direction, right? Which is they are on the same route. Sure. They are side by side when both drivers observe an obstruction ahead of them and shown in the diagram. So proper side by side, but they're driving at different speeds or velocities, right? Then they see an obstruction, so which means something is about to come up. So if they see an obstruction, which means both of them have to or must come to rest or must slow down. So this question is gonna check your understanding on how do you understand the velocity, how do you understand the equations of motions in general. So yeah, I hope everyone got that. Yeah, people are saying bye one the question. So yeah, it's two cars, different velocities, but they are moving at the same direction. Then they observe an obstruction in front of them. So I'm saying, without even checking the questions, that this question will test you on how you understand the velocity and time and distance and all another thing, or displacement if it needs to be displacement. Since there's an obstruction, so that means both of them should consider coming to rest or slowing down, or in terms of not hitting the obstruction, because we know we prioritize the safety throughout the world. Okay, I think we can go to the first question.
Okay. So a scenario I understand that at least.
Yeah. I tried as much to explain it twice.
Okay. Because kubalulekile uunderstand the scenario ebekiwe.
Okay, just stop here.
Yeah. Okanye ndiziveze zoyi-2 if zawukwazi ubonakala. Yeah, so.
Okay, okwangoku uyangaveza le, it's fine. Okay,
Isabonakala.
That is wonderful. I think wonderful. Okay, so if we continue from there, both drivers apply their brakes and accelerate at negative 4.5 meters per second until both cars come to rest.
Per second squared.
Yeah, sorry, per second squared, that's your acceleration value, because you can see your units, it's per second squared, meters per second squared. So ignore the reaction time of the driver. Okay, so I don't really do definitions. I'm more of a calculation, but I understand why we need to understand definitions. Can anyone just type out on the chat box about what is acceleration? Because I want to see understanding in terms of how do you understand acceleration, or you just cram what you you have on your textbooks or what your teacher told you about what is acceleration. Yeah, anyone can just type it out. She's throwing flames. What is that?
Family.
Yeah, since we didn't get leg, we'll wait.
Yeah. For definition in acceleration.
Yeah. Like I want to see like how do they define these things? Because sometimes I
It's acceleration by selling.
okay. Newborn, yeah, newborn. That was
Be quick.
yeah. That was a quick response.
Yeah.
Even if you copied it and pasted it, it's fine. So okay, let's see here.
By selling.
Is that a real name? Acceleration is the rate of change in velocity. Acceleration is the rate of change in velocity. Normally, I would the rate of change in velocity. Acceleration is the rate of change in velocity. Yeah, I wanna use give me access. Screen support to cover up and then okay, I wanna come to definition zero. I hope you guys see. Just confirm if you see your handwriting here. So we were talking about the acceleration. That is A for acceleration. So we were talking about the acceleration. So you guys talked about the rate of change in velocity. So everything that has a rate, so if I say delta V over delta T, so that means upper you calculate the change in velocity and upper you calculate the change in time, right? So the unit for a velocity, the units for a velocity are meters per second. And then the units for the slide is yeah. Okay, now they take okay, no worries. So the units for time is seconds, right? Unit for acceleration. You're making things worse. Okay, there's too much light here. That is reflecting. Oh, okay. Kaifakela covering futhi. Okay, switch off the light. Beautiful. I think you're right. Okay, circle. Okay, circle. Yeah.
Then the but
Short and a layer and you for the face. Okay, someone said meters per second squared. Okay, if we look at this. Do you know about this thing is the same thing as I can't pronounce names. I don't want to call someone's name, then they feel offended. It's 2025. So it's meters per second squared. If you see here, it's second here at your denominator. Then at your numerator, it's per second. So I think you guys know your exponents very well, your laws of exponents. If you can look at this, you can look at this. Quick exponents must they tell you if you have a to the power m divided by a to to the power n. What does this give you? Agiri, it gives you, they say take one base, then if you're dividing, then you subtract your exponents. So this is the same thing. So if you remember here, we have meters per second. On top, then we have second at your denominator. So this will result to, if you want to, because we know this is to the power 1. So you're going to write this like this, meters per second squared, because you would have on top minus 1 minus 1, low walapa or 1. Can you guys see that? This is beautiful, Chief.
Yeah?
This is beautiful.
This is beautiful.
Yes.
Ngisafuna le light ngikanti angilazi.
Which one?
Ngifuna le ibekwe lakuqala because xa ubhalayo uyayigquma. So ndifuna ibekwe lakuqala ngayo.
So ubona le shot?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ndayibeka lakuqala.
okay.
So ndayicima nje i-seconds.
Okay. Tina, we want to move on to bigger and better things in life. Yeah, I love your understanding enough. Because chat.
And you understand
Yeah, people know what they're talking about. Because one thing I hate is people talking about the concept in terms of memorization. Yeah, if you just memorize it, like I understand. Lazy shit,
ayisemsebenzini.
ibeke phi?
Ngisemubeke ngapha. Khona ngisho ikhawula ngibhala.
Ibhuti ndanoba ishiftile okanye ibhuti ibeke yashift. Be upside down indlela. Okay, Hlonelo. What was the last person's name? Okay, let's move on. Okay, ndifuna ke ngoku Chief uzosusa le nto. Ndiyayiminimize nje xa ndi-drag out. Susa screen because I want to have access to le nto siphinde usibuyise. Esi screen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sifuna i-access phaya.
Masithi then phinde usibuyise.
Oh, okay. Sehlise because yeah, these are questions in two. Okay, can we move on to can we move on to can we move on to question 4.2.1, which says now we're going to focus on calculation. Now we have 8 marks there, which is 4 and 4. So it says calculate the time it takes car A to come to rest. So I did mention this, that they want to find your understanding when it comes to velocity and displacement and all that. So the question once again before this way, it calculate the time it takes for car A to come to rest. So we're going to focus on car A. That will be our focal point. Okay. So
This is doing
yeah, so car A, so we're going to focus on car A. So the velocity of car A, if you see the diagram, its initial velocity, so I'm going to say its VI is equal to 15 meters per second. So they want the time it takes for car A to come to rest. So meaning we are looking for delta T in that equation. So it is wonderful to establish what are you looking for with calculation, not just substitute and then get what you want, or just using a formula. What else do we have? So, okay, sure. Okay, what else do we have? What else do we have here? So I want people from chat box here to interact. So I did establish that we have initial velocity. We are looking for time as well. So yeah, what other variable or value we have there? Check your statement, check your question. So I want the other value that you have so that I can direct you to the correct formula that you're supposed to use to find the time taken by car A to come to rest. Bro, English girl, these people are so mean. I'm saying these people are so mean.
One by 5.
Yeah, that's too many people. Okay, I'm still waiting for your response. Okay, we also have acceleration. Okay, we'll see. We also have the final velocity. What is the final velocity, Hlonel? And usifundise ne says we also have acceleration. Yes, we do. Ibikhona kwi-statement ne bekuthiwe acceleration is negative 4.5 meters per second squared, right? And then someone said we have a final velocity which is VF. Final velocity was given on the statement before the question, which was, so I'm looking for anyone else. We have the initial velocity, we have the final velocity as a zero. Why in zero? Because they use like terminology. The car comes to rest, which means it's about 0 meters per second. Then we can use equations of motion. Don't know if whether the light is too bright on this board or
Am I land out there?
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise ezinye indawo zirayithi manje khawumuvele soke because ungathi uyayigquma awubhekela ngapha inhloko yakho
ngengapha
uyigqumile ngoyiqaphela so inhloko yakho kufuneka ime apho.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take this off, and since we know what we have, then we're gonna use the appropriate formula. So we just looking for time. I think this is easy. Grade 2 work. So the appropriate formula exercise plan is it's VF equals to VI plus A delta T, which is that is the variable that we're looking for.
Maximize space ungabhalela phezulu kakhulu.
Okay, so ngiqale apha.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
nakhona if ukwazi kunosikule esiphakathi bhale ngapha then bhale nakwela cala ngapha.
as you can tell, guys, I'm new to this thing. I just walked past this house. So we know our VF is 0. Then we know our VI is 15 plus. Then we know this value of the acceleration is negative 4. And then we're looking for time. Then it's just algebra when you get here. I always tell my students that if you use the correct formula, correct substitution, solving for the variable that you're looking for is just algebra, which is grade 2 work. So what would be your time then? I know that 15 is going to be on this other side, and then on this side we're going to be left with negative 4.5 delta t. And then what is our delta t? I hope you're not just on your phones, you are calculating as well on the other side. I wish they would use Twitch for heaven purposes.
For what?
I mean heaven purposes.
The purposes. So you have to learn a calculator now.
Akunganayo.
No, I'm not calculator.
This guy is good. He doesn't even use a calculator.
I hate color.
So someone said 3.3 seconds. 3.3 seconds. Yeah, which is correct. Right? We don't use calculators here. We don't want to offend anyone. So without wasting your guys' time, right? Or you think I'm boring, I'm gonna be out soon here, don't worry. Does anyone have a question or a comment about what we just did?
Nah, I get in there.
I don't work with that.
Question. You comment.
Even if I want a question, comment. Yeah? Comment. Just show that you're engaging. Even if you're gonna say something that is boring, or maybe your name is, okay, let's say your name is Sifundis. Sifundis. Can you give us a comment on what is happening here?
Like a class in straight.
Can't it make sense? I'm gonna leave, guys. Don't worry. If I have just 2 more minutes with you, then I'm cool. I think I'm forgetting changes it up.
What changes in that? God, it's all. Oops. So you plan on time it takes for car A to come to us.
Yes. Like the 2 questions as is up. They talk about what? The stopping distance of each car. Which one has a longer stopping distance? Khona question. I think it says answers.
Oh, i-brakes zabo ziyafana which acceleration.
Yeah, that's fine, but the velocities are the ones that are different.
Yeah.
And then the last question it was on the stoppage, stopping distance. How long does it take for a car to stop, and for how much distance foot does it travel until it stops? So you call the question where you have to come. Okay, we are calculating time taken to this. See, man, the chat box.
Now usifundisa i-comment yakhe.
Okay, if chat yakhe, if I can read, we are calculating the time it take for car to come. Okay, Spulis, I'll teach you something maybe one day. Thank you for your comment. Even if you think Leo is nothing, it is something. Yeah, it is nice to repeat something once you know how to do it. Because if we pin up in the local years, as time goes by, we will leave out. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So I'm gonna take this away.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna bake thumbs up bonke ngoba bayigeta le question.
Well, you should say so now, but if that's how you do, but they should thumbs up. I can't say people should thumbs up. I'm very strict now. Maybe I'm more confusing now, but
yeah, but keep pages of motion. Once you've many formula right, yeah, it's cool.
Okay, can you drag the screen down? Then strongly language question is like
sorry.
Yeah, now it's on 6 marks like question. 6 marks. Okay, so the next question says, I'm reading the next question. The next question says, calculate the stopping distance of car A. So we want to find out the stopping distance of car A. How do we calculate? So we're still on car A, we haven't changed anything, we're still on car A. So on car A, we want the stopping distance, which means the stopping distance is it's that distance that car A travels up until it stops. That is the stopping distance. So that question is also worth 4 marks as well, which means on this question you are killing it, or it's killing you. That's when you realize I'm losing marks, or I'm losing marks. Yeah. Okay, so the formula sheet nayo ndingabhutela formula.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin. The best views on streambo.com.
Come on now. Do we have?
And yeah, siyathanda uvele ezi comments.
Oh, okay. Maybe Z hackers is trying to find a way to move on. Hackers are the most independent. Okay, so let's do that question. I'm like the reason why chicken sensitive. I don't calculate questions.
You don't calculate questions?
I don't calculate questions for students. I let students work for themselves. That's what I do. Yeah. Okay, instead of you guys giving an answer, so the appropriate formula, if I do remember. So is about delta y. Okay.
I will derive in ifuna ntoni?
Ifuna distance. You want the stopping distance.
Stopping distance.
Not been women those that people want.
Because kwale yokuqala uyakwazi
ikhona inandozi iya apha kule document
khona i-formula sheet.
yes ikhona i-formula sheet. Just scroll down nje but I think iku-Chrome. Just scroll down and phinde ubuyele pha. I just want to copy question as quickly as I can then phinde ubuyele kwemishengu. So I think the one esizoyisebenzisa it could be any of these.
Yes.
It could be any of these because remember we know the initial velocity, we know the final velocity, but it stops there.
Yeah.
So things are totally quick. So VF squared is equal to V I squared plus 2 A delta T. Now delta Y, so delta X or delta Y. So no one is asking anything in this chat box of yours, but uthathwa wapi lo muntu?
Usifundise uthi I got 24.9.
Okay, sifundise, did you use this formula, right? To get your stopping distance. Remember, everything is still the same. It still stops at that point, right? It still stops at that point, and also your initial velocity is still 15, and then you still have the same acceleration, but now you're looking for that distance. So let's just confirm. I think
Cornell of 25 meters. So that one.
Okay. 25 meters, 24 point, okay. So it's 0 here, so upper is about 15 squared, then upper will be 2 times negative 4,5 delta y. Why I keep using delta y? Because we play projectile, that's why. So delta x, then upper you're gonna have
Projectile.
where is your calculator?
Yeah.
Okay, these kids are past, so which means I have to sit back and relax.
Sit back and relax.
Are you? Ngibhala ngani namhlanje? So it's gonna be. So, okay, so it's 15 squared, which is 225, which is 225, minus, so 4.5 has to be negative 9, delta x, so that's still 0, so we're gonna have 9 delta x being equal to 225. So if you divide 225, divide that by okay, I wonder why x is of mana 8 decimal abanye bazofumana 25 to the exact. So sifundise, can you please confirm how did you get 25? Yeah, because fumane
I think the formula different.
it's formula differently. Or from okay, I'm benefiting from right, which is that's part of Philanthropy, the engagement.
Oh.
That's the stopping distance of car A.
And confirm.
We also use the formula you are using. I got 25 as well. Okay, is there anyone or seven say the one with time? So I think yeah, it's possible if you use the one with time using if you use that 3.33 seconds. Yeah, if you use that 3.33 seconds, let's just quickly do that one. Yeah, let's check that as well. So yeah, I think both answers will be correct. So is our 11 going to be this one? We're gonna use UVI. We're gonna use UVI, then we're gonna use tie. Or you might even use this one. Let's try this one. So delta x is equal to VF plus VI over 2 delta T. Yeah, over there.
Oh.
Okay, okay, here's a formula then that is totally different from the one we mostly used, because usifundisa as in UTS use the same formula. Who got 29.4? Okay, it's the same person. Okay, let's see this one if it's gonna work for us. So we're gonna say delta x, then we know our final velocity, our car comes to a rest. 15, which is our initial velocity, divided by 2. Delta t has to be that time it takes, which is 3.33, and then this will be 15 over 2
Angive ukusebenzise le in a time.
in a time. Okay, let's
So
we are using this one in a time. Z2 in fact is in a time divided by 2, so that's 7.5 times, so 7.5 times 3.33. Yeah, now it is confirmed. If you use the one with the time, it's 2.98 meters, right? Or 25 if you use that. So these answers are closely related, because you can see it's 24.9, which is when you round up, you move to a single digit and 1, which is to give you 25. So all answers are acceptable.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, all answers are acceptable, right? Because if you check the memorandum paper, there are options. Like if you use option 1, people will get the answers that are closely or that are precise from one another.
But you might just the advice. Ikhona is it positive marking, na?
Yes. You are there.
Yeah.
Tell them.
No sense like let's say for instance, kwaba basebenzise lo delta t. Delta t being lo calculated question yokuqala.
Question 1, yes.
Yeah. So let's say somehow abe wrong. Yeah. And then ke ngoku if kule question lena uye uphinde usebenzise yena. I mean uye usebenzise la delta t, then the answer yakho izoba wrong, because if let's say question 1 ufumene delta t wakho instead of lo 3, let's say ufumene engu-5. Yeah. So if ungu-5, then automatically the answer le izoba wrong. So ile ngibuzayo ba i-positive marking ikhona na, because i-positive marking into yoba umuntu akapanishwa nge-mistake eyi-1 twice. Now, so if upanishiwe phaa phezulu ngo-delta t uthi wena ngu-5 abe wrong, so if apha uphinde wasebenzisa yena like umsubstitute kakuhle, then bekufanele uba bayakunika i-answer yakho, like bekufanele uba bayakunika ii-marks zakho, because i-logic yakho i-right, yabo. But to be safe kungcono usebenzise le ingayidingiyo i-previous answer yakho, of which izawuba yile ino-VF squared. Yeah, because zonke ezi uzifumene from i-question layer. Yeah, because if usebenzise le ino delta t and then it happens about delta t wakho wrong and bona bayisebenzisa i-positive marking, then automatically nale izoba wrong i-question. So yeah, kule question kungcono usebenzise le yakho.
Okay, I can confirm since I've been marking Malala paper and knowing this thing. Physical sciences does do positive marking.
Just to be safe.
Right. But unyanisile of safety, but physical sciences does, because they're checking understanding, not your right answer. Some people think getting the right answer is everything, and it's not. It's the working that is most important.
Yeah. So if awumakishwa ngumuntu ojonga imemo, then usafe ke nge-positive marking. But if umakishwa ngumuntu ojonga imemo nje straight, umuntu ojonga imemo uzawujonga nje answer yena, then ayibone answer wrong, akwenze wrong, even though ilogic yakho like i-right, which is uthathe la delta t wakho wamfaka apho.
Uyimemo iyabhalwa positive marking.
Iyabhalwa.
Yeah, I wish bendisiphethe ize bendisiprintile, because zonke ziziscience ilanto imemo ziyabhalwa. Ziyabhalwa uba if ufake substitute a previous answer, make it correct, uzayifumana yonke i-question.
But to be safe, stay away from previous answer. Just use i-values ezizinikwe kwi-question, unless they are nice, okay, if are able to solve it, then you can use previous answer.
Okay, since I'm boring people here, I think since I put our introduction, I didn't like introduction, I was flat. Okay, I think slap and go. We 6 marks of car. Yeah. So which car, A or B? I think must be is it here? Yeah. Which car, A or B? Okay, let's move this to okay, let's
click here.
Yeah, so if we can check the question, 6 marks, it's worth 6 marks. It says which car, A or B, has the longer stopping distance? Support your answer with calculations. So if it says support your answer with calculations, you have to calculate to prove it. So which car has the longest stopping distance? I think for car A, we are sorted when it comes to stopping distance. So we already know that it takes for car A to travel 25 meters or 24.9 meters to stop, and also the time it takes. Remember, if they say how long has the longest, when you say something is how long it took, you are referring to time. And then how long is time? Should be time. When you say how long did it take you to finish your dinner, you finished your dinner.
2 minutes.
Yes, 2 minutes. Yeah, this was my struggle back in the day. Yeah, so it says which car has the longer stopping distance. So longer stopping distance would be actually the length of the distance. Also, you should consider the time here, right? So in general, I hope none of you are drivers because you're still young. If you are driving, then you are most privileged. So let's look at the stopping distance. Which one has the longer stopping distance? So we know for car A it's 25 meters, and it takes for car A 3.33 seconds to stop. And then let's look at car B. Well, what is the story when it comes to car B? So I think it's essential for us on car B to find the time it takes for car B to come to rest, and also the distance it takes to come to a full rest or a minimum rest. So let's look at car B. I think we're going to calculate it the same way we started with car A. Sources of V F equals VI plus A delta T. I'm just looking for time here. So we know now it comes to rest, so its final velocity has to be 0. Then 30 meters per second has to be its initial velocity plus negative 4.5 delta t. Okay, now you know that I want to note to people that when you have a value that is negative, always use parentheses or any brackets. It will save your life, right? When I was your age, I knew someone who saved my life. Okay, so opposites are on negative 30 equals 4.5, and then if we divide that, we're gonna get our time. So I'm starting to calculate for time because I know what I'm doing. Meaning I want us to understand what we're doing, not that I know. I don't know. So it takes for car B to come to a full rest after 6.66 seconds. Hey, these digits. So yeah, this is the time it takes for car A to come to a full rest before hitting the obstruction, or just to be safe from hitting the obstruction. And now we're gonna look at its distance. Just like Ebel Chilumi said that, okay, some of us are gonna use this time to get the distance now. And then some of us will actually use the initial velocity and the final velocity that we were given from from the statement. Still fine. You're gonna get roughly answers that are close by one another. So I'm moving on from this. Let's keep in mind by the time we got is 6.6. Let's keep that in mind. So we have 6.66 as time. Né? So I'm gonna say B, and then for A, I'm gonna say 3.33 seconds. And then this is also for B as well. So for B, the distance, okay, we're still looking for distance on B, but on A, we know it's 25 meters. Okay, now let's
usifundile ufumene u-6.67 for ixesha and then
distance 100 meters. Yeah. Okay, Sifundisi, I think you should come here and conduct this list because we are old and slow. So if we're gonna calculate distance, which formula did we use? VF
for distance.
Yeah, VF squared. VF squared, VI squared plus 2A delta X, right? So upper we have 0, and then upper we have 30 all squared plus 2 times 4.5 delta X. Okay, I'm moving it darkness over here. So we're gonna have 0, then 30, I know it's gonna be 9. So it's going to be 900, and then upper is going to be negative 9 delta X
times 6.6 and for distance 99.9.
Yeah, which is they are close by.
Roughly the same.
So which is 100 because if we divide 9 from 900, that's 100.
Yeah.
And then if you say delta X, so if you divide, because we apply more algebra, then this is of 100 meters. So let's sense a comparison here. And it's 100 meters. So if you are going to respond to a question about which one has the, remember the main question up wasn't for you to find these values and then just stop. At 6 marks, you're supposed to comment on which one has the longer stopping distance. Yeah, more people got roughly the same thing. So the conclusion here to you, the one that has the longer stopping distance is going to be B, because B was moving at an initial velocity of 30 meters per second, and then A was moving at a distance that is much lower than that of B. So I want us to take this. I hope nihlale lokishini nonke.
Times.
Yeah, I hope nihlale lokishini nonke. If you see cars running around or you're being fast, so if mna ndiqhuba slow, then yena uqhuba faster, and then we are supposed to come to a stop for me, if I'm traveling slower, it's gonna take less time and a lesser distance for me to come to a full rest. But for Yena, he will continue moving, right? Even though I apply brakes, I'm not talking about applying brakes for your car to just stop now. That's an accident. So uh, K53 101. Now, when you come to a rest, a full rest, you don't punch in, it breaks out. Otherwise, you go to your windshield, right? So
you toy.
yeah, yes. Someone said copy. It's copy. So yeah, it's copy simply because if you take this and you generalize it does. It does because it had a high speed than, yes, it does. So I want you to think about that. You'll never be dead. So, because so Elena did ask me, what if someone punches in a brake, even if they are on a higher speed than a, why yena ngazukwazi stop like shorter than a, what if mavele ndanyathela ibrake yami imoto yami. So you don't even zama icorrecta ke ngoku uba K53 101, when you're driving you're not supposed to punch in i-brakes zakho because that's an accident. When you're punching in i-brake yakho, you take your time, like you're punching in i-brake according to ispeed esihamba ngaso, because imoto yakho izawuquleka iwe.
Yeah, inertia. Inertia, inertia. One of say Newton's law, first law of inertia.
Okay. Let's see. Then I'll let Mr. take over. So the question is, what conclusion can be made about the relationship between speed and the stopping distance? So I think it's your responsibility now as the children of South Africa to tell us the relationship between the velocity of an object and its stopping distance. So in relationship, it's comparison. Ne? That's why you have a lot of people failing when it comes to the word relationship. Ne? Relationship is about comparing when it comes to education. So to conclude on the relationship between these two things. So can anyone or not anyone, all of you, I would like you to engage the question. But what is the relationship between the two things? So when you give me a relationship, compare them. Because a lot of concepts about physical sciences, they are about a relationship. What is under so inversely proportional and direct proportionality? Here it comes here.
No, proportionality.
Yeah. Then ngibukele siyabona senza njani. Yes. Baxelele ukubana or you just didn't care about that.
Hayi. Kuzosoloko kubanike abantu abatsha. Straight. Or salindele relationship.
Yes.
Between speed and stopping distance.
Yeah, relationship is also a tool. Chapter
Noma kuyaleka okanye abasayicinga relationship.
if you don't know your answer, your response to your question, it is very advisable to say you don't understand when it comes to relationship, or yeah, that's also engaging inertia. Whoever said inertia.
Kusifundisa ukuthi the relationship between stopping distance and the speed increases, the distance increases. Yeah.
Okay, what is the relationship between stopping distance and the speed increases, the distance increases. Okay.
Yeah. So the stopping distance, yeah, the speed increases, the distance increases. Yeah. Directly proportional.
So which one influences the other one? Is it the distance or the speed?
Uqale ngayo.
Which one? The speed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because naleyo yenye into that needs the understanding. Because you can't say by stopping distance is influenced by the distance.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one is very interesting as well.
Um, nangu baselungu.
Okay. A is faster if we multiply A 4 to make it.
Alright, just so. Oh, babe. Andifundela tena leya. Imake ngifake i-charger leya. Ibikhathekile nale kasifundisa.
It doesn't make sense.
Imake uba silingo udinga uku-engage udabuza uba ingabe singadibli na. Fake i-charger lapho.
Okay, who are you to ask us about deep thinkings or deep thought? Let's see. So it in the okay, someone is saying an answer that is different from other people, that is nice. That is nice. Someone is actually telling us the answer that is different from the rest of the group, if that's the rest of the group. So uthi ingathi A kodwa, because if we compare the distance and the speed between A and B at equal distances, A is faster if we multiply A, or if we multiply a distance by 4 to make it equal distance to B, we multiply time, we can clearly see that it's A which has a longer distance. Okay, no, you're not thinking deep, right? You just analyzing what you think. Okay, so if you so you're saying A is faster. Okay, let's go back to your question, and I want you to respond to this. Please direct yourself to question 4. Then please check whether the initial velocity ka B nega A, confirm the initial velocity ka A nega B, and then tell me which one is the highest velocity. So that's a two-part question. Confirm if velocity is ka A and B, and then confirm which one has a higher velocity. Then I'll give you a follow-up question.
Makabayithi ingathi ngu-A ephendula iphi question.
Uphendula le in a higher stopping distance, in a longer stopping distance. Uthi nansi in a stopping distance. Utsho phala is a statement.
So because we compare the distance and speed between A and B, equal distances. A is faster.
Okay. Nansi into ethethileyo equal distances.
Yeah, so that's why you are multiplying over 4. So you multiply over 4, and then you multiply A distance by 4, which is about 100. Okay, and you multiply time. And we can see clearly that it's A which has a longer distance.
Okay. Any into that I got there is multiplication by 4. Multiplication by 4 distance. Why are we doing that? And also, if you're gonna multiply by 4,
these are by equal distance.
if you multiply by 4, if you multiply by 4 up, if you multiply by 4 up, right? Now we'll tell you multiply by 4. Okay, velocity is 15 meters per second. Okay, velocity is 30. My point is we can't compare them or at different distances. Okay, thank you. Now I got ilanduza ke ngoku misconception yethu so by 2. Now we can fight on it. So you are saying my point is we can't compare them at different distances. Equation equation wanted us to compare distances at different places. Obviously, as a motor will be at different distances for them to stop because any move quicker than the other one. So it's not saying but compare them at a same different, sorry, at the same distance or at the same time. I get what you're saying. Uzayifumana question enjalo kwi-projectile when you have two objects. Kwi-projectile kuba khona eza questions zithi, okay, at this time calculate a distance ball A then make a ball B, okanye at a certain point pass through each other when they talk about the question of passing through each other, the objects are so at the same distance. So blessing whoever you are.
So it's more like you create any question.
Yes.
Of which question apha yona ifune distance from apho ibihamba khona, which eyokuqala ibihamba 15 to 0. Yabo. Then esibini ibihamba 30 till ide iyoma. Yabo. So since ispeed zazo bezi-different, then kwa-applywa i-acceleration of which is i-brakes ezifanayo, then thina umsebenzi wethu was to just calculate uba ime like ithathe ihambe i-distance engakanani till ide ime, of which apho i-velocity izaba ngu-0. Yabo. So ngoku asizukwazi uyiforsa uba kufuneka zihambe i-distance eyi-1. Now, because if le times ngo-4 siye ku-100 meters, point A so lega A ihambile then yanaba nale velocity yayo ingu-0 apha. Yabo. Then le yesibini ke ngoku yona ihambile then yazoma apha kule ndawo, i-velocity yayo ingu-0 apha, of which nangu 100 then lena nangu 25. Yabo. So Mark, oh my bad, I read the question wrong. I thought we were comparing the cars at the same distance. Yeah.
Maybe just to interject, if that was the question, then let's compare the cars at equal distance. That's what you're saying. Then we would have checked if velocities is also or time or something else in any of the
at equal distance, but the problem is then bekuzofuneka ke ngokapho maybe it's comparison apha ku-25, because with distance ezaba more than u-25 asizukwazi because u-A yena umile apha. Yeah, then I think kunokomparisa ku-25 instead of extending apha because imile le ka-A apha kule ndawo. Yeah, and ke ngoku nakhona u-B apha uzofika faster ku-25. And enye into asizuyazi no-V final wakhe, because at least apho u-V final besimazi bangu-0 apho iye ime khona. Kusho kuyabonakala le nto endenzayo. Yeah, but as long as uyibonile nawe baselingu. Le kasifundise besiyifunde wrong because bekhathishekile. Because asiyibonanga la directly proportional, because when the speed increases, the distance increases. Yeah. Yeah, funa ndizame i-chat ibe transparent, funeka ndijonge le nto le. Yeah.
But grade level 2026 most probably state and I.
Yeah.
A lot needs to be done. Hope a lot has been done. So we have moved 5. Unless it's not like question. Yes.
Okay.
What time do you usually close?
Yeah, but it's in the layout.
No, so Saturday.
Then the chat ungathatha ijule etsaleni.
Eh, 29. Anyway, okay, let's look at this one, guys. No, I said this, that was my last question, but unfortunately.
Marriage is also like a sudden transform the whole feature scheme. Yeah. Yeah, but I got a question. Not confirm.
Okay, uzayibona msebe kuwe.
Oh yeah, John.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the question, guys. Then I know you are bored. This guy just owns here and think he owns the place. So let's see. A skateboarder starting from the top of a ramp, which is 4.5 meters above the ground, skates down the ramp as shown in the diagram below. The mass of the skateboarder and his board is 65 kilograms. Ignore effects of frictions. So we have a starting point, Payana, which is the person is 4.5 meters above the ground. So they're gonna skate, and then we try to ignore effects of frictions, which is there is no friction there. So I think it's gonna mean something later on. Maybe in your question, you will see. Maybe it wants you to understand the concept, which is why I prioritize understanding the concept before actually applying the formula and substituting your values there. So the first question, it says define the term potential energy in words. So you have about 5 seconds to tell us what is potential energy or gravitational potential energy in words. Okay, someone responded. Can actually see it there. Just enhance it and maybe use it. I just want to see energy. Okay, sure. Which energy of an object has. Okay, energy of an object. I don't see what is this. Is this word because of its point on the gravitational field relative to some reference point? Okay, I think I'm trying to get what you're trying to say.
Energy an object has because of its position.
Or it's an energy an object has because of its position in the gravitational field relative to some reference point. I like the fact that you use relative to some reference point, yeah? Because I'm going to show you something on the screen, which is on the board. Yeah. So if ever I can see any chat here, so I'm going to acknowledge some chat. So you will say mostly the same thing. So I'm acknowledging all the chats, ne? Looking down. That's acknowledgement. So yeah. So if we know what is okay, if we know what is potential energy, right? Potential energy is calculated as EP equals to mgh. So someone said reference point, yeah, reference point. So when they said that, they meant, or this is what they tried to mean. We know that the h is for position or is for height, right? So it is for height. So meaning that if a person or an object would have a height of to the ground, we know that it will be 0. So if you multiply everything by 0, we know that potential energy does not exist. It exists, but it's 0, right? And then once an object gains height, which is a relativeness, the word relative, remember that word relative, right? So it would be 0 if your height is 0. Then if it's a 4.5, a 2, then which means, because usually after you multiply your mass, right, and you're also multiplying your constant, which is, I think, near grade 10, are you using 9.8 or using 10? Because I think during our time in Sicily to 10, so at 9.8, we only started saying 9.8 when we were in grade 12 or 11. I've got grade 10. Sustainability gravity is there. Oh, I think I textbook isebenzisa ngoku because i-textbook zakudala zinyani zithi gravity for constant 10 since ingana-9.8. Okay, so yeah, I strongly agree with its definition zero the gravitational potential energy. So it says calculate the gravitational potential energy of the skater just before he goes down the ramp, just before he slides down that ramp. So they want the potential energy. I don't think find this difficult. Someone just gave a
Copy answer.
oh no, it's not the way. They are actually answering randomly was around 10 and 9.8. Someone saying 9.8.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the object's mass and the skateboard is 65 kilograms, right? So you multiply that with 9.8, and then your height is 4.5, then the potential energy. So you just punch in your window. I think I'm the one who's faster now. Gen Z. Gen Z is my foot. So 4.5. So your potential energy would have to be it's 2,866.5, and your units is joules because it's energy. It's energy. I always think this is the most. So yeah, did anyone get that? Just thumbs up, Jay. You don't need to type. So we can move on to bigger and better things in life. And then the next question wants the conservation of mechanical energy, right? Then use that.
Answer in chat.
Okay, here's someone said something on the chat. Yes, got the same answer. Okay, thank you. See, I can't call you by gender. I can't give you pronouns. Okay, thumbs up, fist, and okay. Thank you, whoever you guys are. Yeah, we are stranger to one. Okay, let's see. So the next question says state the principle of conservation of mechanical energy. No, guys, no. I think this is for 2-year-olds. So same here. Well, I'm not big on the calculations, but I can tell you this requires the understanding before actually. I know you've crammed what is conservation of mechanical energy. You cram it. But when it comes to understanding, do you understand what it means? I'm not going to state that. I'm not going to state that. You are going to state that for the flow. Right, so it says state the principle of conservation of mechanical energy in words. So can anyone on the chat give us that? What it means? Because you know, I don't know anything. I was passing, like I'm telling you the truth, I was just passing this out. Then someone said I must get in. Then I got a cup of coffee and a mark. Now we are doing physical sciences. Can someone quickly just tell us, okay, the total energy, okay, let's see that in full. So someone is saying the total energy in an isolated system remains constant. Okay, in an isolated system, okay. About you mentioned isolated system, I'm gonna tell you the relationship. If you're not the board and you yeah. I think Sichoni said
Kakhulu.
yeah. Someone said isolated system. Let's keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, someone has actually answered it. No one should answer it again. If you have time, you can answer. Oops. Someone said isolated system. Okay, the total energy is conserved. In an isolated system, the total energy is conserved when it's constant. Right? Yeah, I think I like this report being up. Yeah, so that is a focal point.
That's one question.
Don't worry about the question. These kids, they are invincible. No, I used to think the word invincible is invisible. Okay, I'm doing the same thing. Okay, so I want to talk about isolated system. If you remember on the question, it will ignore effects of friction. What's an isolated system? So isolated system. So an isolated system, what would that be? So in order for your mechanical energy, in order for your EMAC, or ME to be conserved or to be the same, it must be an isolated system, which means there must be no frictional force, which is Fk, and also there must be no applied force. Then that's when you know what it's an isolated system, and then your mechanical energy should be conserved when you constant. This is how you would know why it's true. So for your system to be isolated, there must be no friction, there must be no applied force. And then if you check up effects of friction. So low is not being pushed by a force, they are just sliding there. Right? We know that energy is not lost, it is only manufactured.
Transfer to any form.
Yeah, energy is transferred to another form. It means there is no air resistance or friction. Okay, it's fine as well.
External forces.
Yeah, there are no external forces as Mr. SH. Okay, so if energy is conserved, I think the next question you will require us to calculate for something. I will do a sketch as well. So let's look at the following question. Then time is up. So they say use the principle stated in question 5.3, which is a conservation of mechanical energy, to calculate the magnitude of the velocity of the skateboarder when he reaches the ground, which is point X. So we want the velocity when he reaches the ground, which is that velocity there. So since we stated that mechanical energy is conserved, that means, I'm gonna draw a sketch here. That means, okay, I'm not good at drawings. Okay, here's this person sliding the skateboard side. Then from that point, so we know it's 4.5 meters. And then they're coming to the ground, which is point X. They're coming here. So we want the velocity, so that would be the final velocity. We want the final velocity when it reaches that point. We know but they are above the ground 4.5 meters. And then what is the velocity of the initial? The initial velocity, remember, Lomdu was just standing there, then was lighter. The initial velocity would be 0 meters per second. And then you are looking for this one, this velocity. And then the question requires or wants us to use conservation of mechanical energy, which is the formula I'm about to use on the next point that I'll make. So I'm gonna clear this out. Okay, so let's see. So here, if you talk about conservation of mechanical energy, it means EMAC before, or ME, or M, whatever we use at school. EMAC before should be equal to mechanical energy. Okay, someone got it, but I can't see
velocity, I think 88.
88. I can't see. Uti at x, yeah, uti 88 meters per second. Okay, we'll confirm that now. Yeah. So remember,
I think, not sure, because that's the answer I got in calculation. Okay. So I don't know sure.
Okay, let's see.
Not build the confidence there.
Okay. Whoever is saying nonsense up on their chat box needs to shut up. No, I'm joking. So, so mechanical energy before should be equal to mechanical energy after. So we're gonna compare when he is up, that's deep, and also when he is at point X. Okay. Sifundisi square root. Oh, I think we are talking to one another. So it means that they didn't square answer yake because of 88.
So Shonela is 9.3.
Okay, so let's do it. So in mechanical energy on its own, it's potential energy plus kinetic energy. So that will be for before and after. So nalapha is on EP plus EK. So lena is on mgh plus m squared equal to mgh plus half m squared. Okay, so there was elimination up. We're gonna do elimination here to the up. This is where we're gonna do it. So before, potential energy exists, but after, place a ground in the potential energy does not necessarily why it doesn't exist, but if it's 0, which means here, if it's 0, that means there is no potential energy. So we're gonna eliminate that. Then nalapha, at first, we know that the velocity was or is 0, so which means kinetic energy is not there. Then we are left with mgh equals half m squared. So we know it's 65, 9.8, then 4.5. Then it's half. Let's see if we can see. Then it's gonna be 65. Then you're left with v squared. Then let's punch in that department. So 65 times 9.8 times 4.5. So it's going to be 2866.5. Then we're gonna tell 65 over 2, 65 divided by 2, which is 32.5. So you're gonna divide by 32.5 both sides, 32.5 v squared. Okay, let me try to finish it off here. Hey, language, what are sometimes? Then 2886.5 divided by 32.5 should give you 80. Wait. Ufumane 88 okanye, why am I getting such big values?
800 and something.
Yeah, I got 800 and some. Did I punch in? Oh yeah, I punched in an extra 8, that's why. Sure, I function an extra 8 and you will. Yeah, suppose Wula 8.2, right? But we know that is equal to v squared. So if you use your root,
so we have the very
yeah. So v, your final velocity is 9.4 if you round off.
Yeah, that 39
or 39 meters per second, which is correct. Yeah, any comment? I think these people
yimakhadi so imake usifundise nohlonela ingathi ba-grand bona so ubaselingo which is u-akha kunye no-anive u-the real vic gqwele kudala naye kaniconfirm uba ni-grand ngale question na ba mina confirmation. Okay, yeah, utufumene u-9.399 uthi same ugrain same answer. Okay, I can was sorted.
okay. Let's see. So will the skateboarder be able to reach point Y if he were to remain on the skateboard? Right? Yes or no? Then support your answer. Then use relative calculations. This is when you say to yourself, why did I choose teaching and tutoring? I think
Your question, yeah.
From 258, 2058. Need to get something to eat.
Yeah, ngigqoda le question. Can you confirm yes or no kule? And then uzama uyicalculate yona ukuba uzawufika na phaa ku-point Y. Of which ngathi seyi-question eyi-1 le but benza maybe i-inverse nje ethile. So ngoku from apha ingabe uzawukwazi ufika na apha. It's yes or no and then support the answer yakho with the calculations.
Well, ndifuna ukuyikhumbula this 9.38 is our initial velocity.
Yeah, then apha uzawuma mos napha so singaconfirm uba uzawuma uzike.
Okay, then another distance they should take it.
Yile nditshoyo uba iseyile question eyi-1 because apha ebelapha bayitshintshe lapha so.
Which one will the skateboarder be able to reach point Y if he were to remain skateboard? Maybe.
Yeah, so uzawuqhubeka ngale velocity eyi-1 because if ebezawukwehla icacile akazukwazi because izawutshintsha i-velocity yakhe. So ngoku izawuba kulaa 0 and then inyuke. So over the question, and we said back the question. Yeah, answer question back up. And then calculate energy using 9-meter height and compare. The answer is no, because insufficient energy. Okay. Insufficient energies. Talk to your methods.
Okay, you're gonna finish it off. Okay, sure. I'm saying about
Yeah.
his grades.
Thing formulas. Okay. Being by being EP plus kinetic energy cut before, and then later EP plus kinetic energy ka after. Yeah. So ngoku sawuqala phaa kulaa point ka-X, okusho point X ithemo silena madiyenze nje yabuya apha. So nangu point X, then ibe nangu Y, then kubekho ke ngoku lo 6M. Yeah, ibisuka phaa phezulu. Yeah, so ekuqaleni besifuna from upper to up, but ngoku sawufuna from upper ukunyuka uya phaa phezulu. Uba i-possible na now. Yeah. So imake matenjis libe formulas EP ngubani mgh. Yeah. So sinalo mgh plus bengulo half kubani ngu for kinetic energy half mv squared equals to mgh plus half mv squared, because nalapha into le the law of conservation of the energy sa-apply because it's an isolated system. Waphinde uhlolele the answer from the height is okay, 3,822 joules. Okay, then hlolela does that mean uyayitshintsha ngoku answer yakho okanye? Therefore minus lena. Okay, nima ndiqale ndicalculate apha le. So play case from X, which is before wethu, i-height ngu-0, so singayisusa yona, and then i-velocity le besiyifumene previously, then apha u-h ukhona uzawuba ngula-6 meter kweli cala, and then i-velocity yayo ibe ngu-0, so singayikhupha yona. Then lena izawuba ngulo half m ngubani 65. 65 i-velocity esiyifumene ngulaa 9.39 equals to singulo 65 9.8 and then ibe ngu-h ngoba u-h ngubani 6. Azijonge bazawulingana nayo. Yeah.
So meeting conclusion now. Was it yes?
Imali ibe ngu-no.
still
So true. The answer is no. The answer is no. Being if you can calculate the subtraction, come to
your competition is kinetic energy.
yeah.
The greater layer of an
Make for each other.
yeah, you're there, you're there.
Then are lower.
Second option, Uchi, it's 3,823 energy.
Yeah.
Because of the oh, abe in energy that it possesses through
5
so
so akazokwazi ukuyireacha uyofika apha phezulu.
yeah, any option abeyisebenzisile was to calculate like was to assume about 8 akekho 6.
Yeah.
Assume about 8 akekho about 6. And then bonds conservation then calculate to age. Then they got a different age. Then
Oh.
age which is lesser than a 6.
Then ke ngoku baconfirm uba le izawuphela kulaa height leya.
The height is less than 6, not 6.
Iye kuloo formula.
Right, then conservation of mechanical energy. Same thing.
But bafuna ufumana u-age.
Each law sekhona se-exista because
Yeah.
conversion now after bathe no 4.49 meters, which is less than 6 meters.
Then ke singaye instead of ucalculate i-energy there.
Nale, because once
Manje ndifuna uexplaina nale yakho le. So any option nayo so still ne-answer yona. So any option yeyoba ungacalculate uba le izawuphela phi. Yeah. Then if i-height yayo is less than le ka-6, then it means uba maybe izawuphela somewhere up. So if singacima apha and calculate u-H lo kube ngathi asimnikwanga. So calculate u-H and then ke ngoku divide both sides ke ngoku 65 9.8 then nangapha 65. So final H, yes, plan won't be able, yeah. Your answer is 955, therefore the skater won't be able. Yeah, i-energy ayikho enough, then lena yona finding u-H uyaprova nje qha uba i-height azoyithatha amane uba i-height azophela kuyo ngubani. So 1/2 times 0.35. So 65 times So no lane 305 all divided by 637. Minus 0.37. Yeah. So, pause ngubani? 4 point something. Then call substitution in the surface and because G 9.8 message 65. Yeah. Then ngapha we have 65 uvis and square shang. Yeah. It's blend out. Yeah. So the energy we got from the first answer is less than. Yeah. So still the phase right one I throw 5. So the 1/2 39 squared. Then we will 2865.6 dividing only 9. Yeah. So 94.5. Yeah, so my proof nakanje. Which results in complete. Yeah. So my proof nakanje by getting i-value ka-H. Then uzawubonisa uba since nisitsho nani uba i-energy yakhe is not enough for uba ayofika apha phezulu because i-energy yakhe i-less. Then uphinde uconclude uba well not uconclude but usapote ngokuthi i-height le azoyiritsha yona iza 4.5. So yena instead of call 6 lo maybe yena uzawuphela somewhere up uzawuku 3 up. Yeah, uzawuphela apha aphinde ehle because of the energy ayikho now. Otherwise ututor kufuneka ahambe uyotya. Hayi nabo ngomso bengibani ixesha ngomso. Then singabuya back kwezaziba ekuqaleni. Or else if possible bandizawubona nam uba ndingabuya ngomso I think emini kunga-right. Okay, no problem because akukho ndawo ndiyakuyo nam ngomso. Yeah, sawubuya back kwezi. Hey, awune-PhD. Nice. Something.
No.
So emini ngomso by emini wangibani ngo-1 senzeni u-1. Since ezi question is phezulu. We can do is well multiple choice nayo singadlala. Then multiple choice and after yona is question of which as quite difficult is than is Z2. Yeah. Then lazy waves came up. Yeah. masigqibeni ezi ziphezulu. So, and also kuthi nganto le iitopiki ezinifakayo imali ndijonga imali mandibhekelise le nto sidile nge-chat qha ngoku. So ngomso imali so urhasimeni uthi uxolo bhetele njengoba ebethe umiste ne-life science uyayipheka akanosinceda noba kusunday. Niyibhala nini yona i-life science? Isifundisa I think ku-right late loans because emini disturbance okanye singabikho. Okay, nibe grand lebhuti into esinceda. Okay, so i-life science niyibhala Monday yona. Then i-physics yona niyibhale Tuesday. Life science grade 10 ndizake ndiyijonge life science ndibone uba ndizabe ndibhala njani. Ngomso ndizawujonga availability yam, so mandithi late for sure sizawuzama uyenza, then emini ke ngoku hayi yima late ndino-five aside apha eVeligate, so iphaa ngo-7 so ndizawubuya around ngo-8. No, late sawukwazi uyenza ne but ndizawukhonfirm uba ngabanye ixesha, but emini singayenza nayo because kuku-five aside endimdlalayo. I-life science yona ndingayizama nayo i-preparation. I-life science le hayi cacela mna zibheka i-timetable straight. Life science ma-grade 10 xola kudala. Nithi mani ndakufundisa naye kaloku satitrishayo. Okay, akho problem gents, ndizawuthetha through uhlonele then ndimxelele about amaxesha yabo, but sawuzama uyenza nalate even if ndibuya ediskini ndizawuyenza then nasemini ndizawuconfirm. Otherwise sawudibanani ngomso. Sure. Stop recording. Stop stream. Oh, is that? Yeah, I went out saying, isn't it? Putting it here, still what? You're gonna lose it. I always think, I always 36. 3600. Yeah. No, icimile into le nto iyaphika apha nje kayo, but sicimile i-stream zona. Cimile i-stream. Ndithathe le program idimandile ixesha, but no sendisitsho ndikwazi uyathoba Oh. Awukhunje kanjalo. Since uzowahamba. Chill, chill. Especially that was in conservation of what it means. Don't before